Question 4. Show that these two pairs of brackets expanded simplifies to give you 8 plus 5 root 2. Show you're working clearly. Got to be careful with surds here. You have to show absolutely every step along the way. Multiplying now double brackets. We're going to have this 3 times a 4 first of all, which is going to give us a 12. We're then going to have a 3 times a negative 2, giving us a negative 3 root 2, followed by a 2 root 2 times 4, giving us a plus 8 root 2. And lastly, a 2 root 2 minus a root 2. How many steps you take here is entirely up to yourself. Technically, 2 root 2 times a negative root 2 would give you a negative 2 root 4. Depending on the mark scheme, sometimes you could get away with just writing minus 4, which is what that becomes, because root 4 ends up becoming a 2, and then we double it. So how many of these steps you need really depends on the particular question. So if in doubt, write more steps than you need, especially when you're dealing with a show question. So actually, I'll just leave that there right now. So we have takeaway 4. The terms at the beginning are 12 minus 3 root 2 plus 8 root 2. And the minus 3 root 2 and the plus 8 root 2 are going to simplify to give us a plus 5 root 2. And the 12 takeaway 4 give us an 8. Part B, rationalize the denominator and simplify fully. If you just type this into your calculator and get an answer, you will not get any marks. If you have done anything else that doesn't involve rationalizing the denominator, you will not get the marks. You've got to follow the instructions that have been given in the question. Rationalizing the denominator, if there's one term like this, involves you multiplying top and bottom by said surd. So times top and bottom by root 2. Being careful to make sure that everything on the top gets multiplied by root 2. When we do this, the bottom of the fraction becomes rational. Root 2 times root 2 being root 4, which becomes 2. On the top, 10 times root 2 gives you 10 root 2. And the 3 root 2 times the root 2 will give us a 6. You could technically take an extra step and write 3 root 4 and then write it as 3 times 2, but for this particular question you definitely don't need that. Last thing to do, we have a fraction to simplify. You can write these out separately, basically dividing them both by 2 separately, like so. The 10 root 2 divided by 2 gives you a 5 root 2, and the 6 over 2 gives us a 3. So 5 root 2 plus 3 is our final answer. Done.